Welcome back to Sleepy Wash Simulator, where I forget to record the second part of the VOD. Sarah Sawatis wants us to clean the mayor's monster truck, I think? And my controller's not working. Oh, yeah, that'll happen, Aiden. There we go. So I've already started this, it seems. I've only been playing this, like, when I'm about to fall asleep recently, so, yeah, I don't have much recollection of doing, even this. Honestly, I forgot the cat was yellow. So here we are, back in Sleepy Wash. Back on the Sleepy. But yeah, I have this thing. It's like, lately I've been like, oh, well, I could put out a webcomic. Well, you're not gonna, that's a lot of work. It's not gonna start unless you start it. And the thing is, like, I have Clip Studio, as much as I don't condone buying their products anymore, because they fucked themselves over. Oh, hello. I don't, what am I trying to say here? I don't even know how the manga shit works, or the comic book blocks, which is part of the reason I got Clip Studio in the first place. I got it for two reasons when I did. One, I already knew from experience that I hated Adobe. I didn't want to pay for Adobe. Okay, 3 reasons. Reason number 2, it wasn't paid subscription. Reason number 3 was that it prided itself on, being webcomic friendly. A lot of people who make manga use it. So I was like, okay, I can use this for webcomics then. That'll probably be really cool. It's a lot of useful tools. They look really neat. Like, I did a decent amount of research, too, before I splurged on it. And then when I was finally like, okay, I think I'm gonna do it eventually, it went on super fucking sale. But yeah, now I wouldn't condone it. Because it's subscription-based for no fucking reason. Celsius can eat my ass. Also, Celsius loves NFTs. Worth noting. I don't think they're incorporating them into the software they own, because Celsius, I don't think, develops Clip Studio. But anyway, my weird topic isn't with Clip Studio. It's with, that stuff you can Google on your own. I'm not an expert. But, lately I've just been like, okay, well, do this shit then. You can at least, like, draw giraffes draw giraffes. You can at least draw giraffes of something, of, like, your OCs and, like, other shit in the story. And now I'm just like, hey, I don't know. I've just been so fucking downtrodden with so much shit recently. And a lot of it would change if I had more money. But also, like, it sucks, It just sucks. It just blows and bites, I just can't win. I guess that's the point. Check my phone in case you're wondering where I was spraying the wall there. Get the little kitty sideburns here. I mean, this is pretty decent, like, I don't know if I make it look exactly like this, but I think if somebody's like, hey, your monster truck, you want it to be kitty themed, I probably wouldn't say, like, hell no, I'd think about it. Aiden, you stupid bitch. Girls and envies don't fucking, do monster truck. I'm pretty sure they do, though. The vegan community suspects that they're the secret ingredient of the muck and hamburger, but there's been a statement from Ella herself denying it, telling them to stick their salmon with the sun to shine. Ella claims that her burger's unique flavors due to its extraordinary high salt content. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, Sarah. Anyway. But yeah, it's just been this recent kind of like rat race kind of mood. And there was another day where I was thinking about streaming this and talking more on Power Wash Simulator, Sleepy Wash, but like, I was just like really downtrodden. I was like, I think if I don't have a video game like distracting me, like plot-wise and like action-wise, I'm just gonna be depressing and vent on screen. and I can't promise, but I don't think this session, by the way, is going to be as dark as the last one. The last one, I was kind of, like, embarrassed after the fact. I was like, I don't care if people hear about this, 'cause I didn't go, like, embarrassing. It's just very fucking sad. It's a very downer episode of Sleepy Wash. And I don't want that to be the premise of what this is. At the same time, this isn't like a planned out thing, usually. It's usually just me not wanting to go to bed. And so I stream Power Wash Simulator instead. I listen to Sonic music all the time. I wonder if any of the ones I added today will come on the playlist. I added some Sonic CD shit. People like that, their Sonic CD. But yeah, I don't know. This lately I've been like, well, do it then, Aiden. Well, I would. Or I'm gonna start today, and then I get just so depressed. Like, I feel like it takes me, like... So today I took off work, right? I took off the half of the shift. Just completely, like, unannounced. Just didn't come in. And... I was like, okay, that'll be fine. But I definitely need to go in for the back half, basically, of that shift. Or rather, it's split into 2 shifts. So I have to go in for the night shift, basically. And I was like, okay, I will do that, because I still have the responsibility to, like, even though I'm like, fuck this job, I gotta get a new one, I don't have a new job yet. So I can't be, you know, I can't play this too close to the chest. It's literally dangerous for me to do so right now. So I said, okay, that's fine, to myself, I guess. And then I fucking, decided, okay, I'm gonna start getting ready, I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna clean myself. I'm gonna put on makeup earlier than I usually do for this. Because normally for my night shifts, I'm like, just sit around and be depressed until... If it's a day where I don't have the first shift and I have to go into the second shift, for the second shift, I'm like, okay, if I get ready earlier, then I'll be ready to go, and then the rest of my time will be spent wisely. Instead, it's just me, like, overwhelmed with the thought of work out, brush your teeth, draw things, put on deodorant, do makeup, exercise, you know what I mean? Like, it's this whole fucking just combination of shit. And it overwhelms me. Just basic things in life that other people would just do normally. And, like, I'm just at my wit's end lately. Or I'm just, that is, like, a chore to me. Like, taking care of myself is a chore to me. And I'm getting a little better about it. I was pretty bad, like, for a while. I was only showering, like, maybe, like, once or twice a week. I was just making sure I was, like, bare minimum, not fucking terribly stinky, you know what I mean? And then, like, after that, I was like, oh, whatever. Which was bad. Because it's bad for your skin to do that, too. It's not even just like, oh, pay you. It's like, you gotta, like, you know, you gotta take care of yourself. But that's easy for me to say in practice, because it's what I believe for, like, my friends, for the people I love in my life. I want them to be safe, and I want them to be healthy, and as such, if I was like, okay, well, this is the thing you gotta do first, you know? Like, this is the first step, you gotta get clean, you know? You gotta make sure you're doing the bare minimum. And if I need to help with that in some way, I'm not gonna, like, wash you, you know what I mean? But, like, you know, it's a thing that's gotta happen. But, like, yeah, for me, but when it's, like, myself, I'm like, I've had this mentality for a long time. I have been much better about it in recent years over, like, in comparison, like, 27, the year 27, where I was alive. The 2017... I was a lot worse about it, because I was, like, at a huge low mental health-wise. I don't know if I'd say that was the mental health-wise lowest I've ever been, but, like, it was the most dangerous, if that makes sense. Without going into detail where I have the trigger warning this fucking pod. And that'll probably tell you everything you need to know, honestly. In any case, yeah. But I've been a lot better about it this year. Or over the past few years, I guess, over the past, like, couple of years. But, like, also, when I started getting into that, it was like COVID happened as well, which sucked. So now it feels like a chore to, like, if I don't love myself good enough, I did bad. And I've never heard anyone say that, but I know it can't be an original thought. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way in hell I'm the only person on the planet that feels that way. And I think a lot of people feel some permutation of it. Like, if nothing else, it's relatable. Even if you haven't had the same exact thought, it's probably a relatable, just like... Because, like, there was somebody I unfollowed the other day. It's not because they're a bad person or because they're problematic. They're actually really cool, it seems. But, like, they kept making these posts after I followed them of, like... It wasn't anybody I know. It wasn't, like, a mutual or anything. Like, I'm not going to start drama. But, like, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And she started posting shit about, like, you decide how you are when you wake up in the morning. Like, you need to see the beauty in the world or else you're going to be stuck not doing that. And I get the sentiment. Like, it's a nice bit of positivity. At the same time, it's kind of like... it's something that I'm going to use for a middle finger to myself, because my brain looks for things to do that. Because I just have major depression. And, like, yeah, I was like, I need to fucking start taking better care of myself and shit. But, like, it feels like I'm doing bad by not doing that. Like, maybe I am just fucking garbage. And that's not the person who posted its fault, obviously. Let's go over here. Sarah, what are you talking about? I am quote-unquote waxing philosophical with chat. Someone somewhere probably out in the sticks has some real nice tuna steaks and they're all holding up there for a while. Maybe. I can't believe we didn't have a problem with that back where we used to live. Because there was this cat that, would come around and my parents started feeding it, even though they don't know how to take care of an animal, for the most part. So they fucking, would just lay it out and feed it, you know. They weren't trying to, like, take it in or anything. They were just like, you know, hey, we'll feed her. And she went off to heaven. No, she, one day we heard, like, a lot of cats screeching out in the backyard. And then, like, the next time we saw the cat, she was, like, fucking huge. So, like, obviously pregnant. So that was a whole thing. I don't know where I was going with that thought process. But anyway, so Aiden, how do you conclude this point? How do you solve the issue of well, you know you're good enough logically, even in a nihilistic sense. So how, you know, how do you combat these feelings? How do you convince yourself? You know, how do you stop walking the self-pep talk walk and start doing the pep talk walk? And I guess I don't know fully. Partially just because if I had an answer, I'd be doing it myself. I struggle with it frequently. And, you know, I've made, most of them aren't up anymore, but I've made mental health videos in the past. I feel like I'm very much the kind of bitch that, like, can't follow their own advice. Because I've actually, like, this is me tooting my own horn, I've helped people out of some shitty situations. It's something I pride myself in this life, and not to the point where I'd get a doctorate in it. I'm not considering myself a therapist or a medical professional, but I'm good at talking people into motivating themselves and seeing parts of themselves that I see in them, which is positive, which I know a lot of people aren't going to believe offhand. Actually, I don't even know about that, but that's another topic. How people perceive me, I guess, in a vague sense is another topic. But, yeah, like, you know, I've gotten people out of some pretty big ruts. Helped people with relationship problems, even though I'm single, and I've never been in a good romantic relationship. Or even, like, a fucking, like, sexual partnership. Every single, like, relationship I've been in that regard has been to some form fucking, like, baseless or toxic or both. But it's still somehow, it's very much I guess, like, okay, with my experience of what I have experienced and what I would do if somebody was going through a similar pain that I know of. You know, what would I tell me? What would I tell them? But of course, it's not that easy. I have to do it catered based on what I know about the situation and what I know about this person. Because the same advice in the same exact situation is not going to work for one person than it does for another. And I think that's part of the reason why my own advice doesn't even work for me. You know, I'm not the expert on that shit. Because I also have to be an expert on... I think one of the big things, as cheesy as it sounds, is that the reason I'm good at that is because the people who ask me about this shit and, like, confide in me on that are usually people I love in some regard. Little bits or big bits. I love in some regard. At the very least, like, admire. And it's mostly just me talking it out because I just enjoy talking about this sort of thing, you know? But it's also a matter of, I think I'm more of an expert on loving that person than they are for themselves. So I don't just tell them what they want to hear. Sometimes I'm harsh, but like, I never get harsh for the sake of like, oh, I'm such a fucking badass. Oh my god, I want to come on myself. Like, it's always like, this is what I think will work for them now. And then if I'm being rash and saying something that's going to be damaging in the long run, I can pinpoint that and pick up the pieces later. Oops. Or at least it's my theory. So yeah, how do I do it for myself? So I'm not an expert on loving myself. I don't know. I am an expert on trying to. But I'm not an expert on succeeding. And I guess that sucks, huh? But again, I'm not saying this just to vent or cry on Power Wash Simulator, because I'm not crying right now. But like, I don't know. And it's another one of those things where I feel like there's no way in hell that I'm like the only person on the planet that thinks about this stuff. Or these specific feelings as well. I highly, highly, highly doubt is the thing. Is the frame rate really fucking bad on my stream? Is it, like, universally bad? Because it looks bad. Is it gonna look that way in the VOD? Let me try something here. It looks okay now. Maybe it's just the preview's funky. Normally I'm into funky. Do we have a fucking ladder? That would be swell. If we had a ladder in this stage, that'd be so swell. Does this one work as function as a ladder that I can use? Of course not. Why would it? Oh, here we go, ladder. I'm assuming this will make the tires easier. Because from the shit they suggest, I cannot fucking grab that gunk. Which really sucks. It's a whole point of stage. This ladder is not picking up. There we go. Yeah, that should be fine. Oh, yeah. I think I can't, and again, like I said, I want to end this point, but I don't want to end it on a downer, just like, oh, this is just the way it is, and the vast majority of these problems won't end until capitalism is overthrown. Which I personally do not believe will happen in our life, or in my lifetime. I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. But I think I'm right, unfortunately. But I can always hope and try, you know. I can be nihilistic, but I don't have to be defeatist at the same time, if that makes sense. They're not synonymous for a reason. But I want to end this on, like, at least a neutral positive to, like, you know, you can do this motivational note. I guess, like, at the very least, what helps me, if nothing else, is that this is cheesy. This is stupid. One of my favorite movies of all time is It's a Wonderful Life. And it's not because it's the greatest movie ever made. It's not because of a lot of things about the movie. Well, actually it is, because it's actually a really well-made film. But, I think it really shaped me as a kid, because I grew up in an abusive and, like, heavily conservative household, and, I wasn't allowed to express any form of femininity or androgyny. So, but they would force me to watch The Wonderful Life, which is very funny looking back, because every year I watch that, I realize, like, one or two new things that my parents probably don't agree with within the messaging of that film, like, how it works, and I'm like, wow, this was really just a fucking feel-good Christmas movie then, wasn't it? That's fucked up. That's fucked up as fuck. In any case, not to say it's a genius work of fiction either, but, like, it's a well-directed film. What it loses in story and, like, you know, its racism is, well, I guess it doesn't make up for the racism, but it does make up for the other stuff. By being not only a good Christmas film, but I would say just a great film overall. But the whole premise of it, you know, I think I took that to heart as a kid. It was kind of an escape, a little bit. Or not even an escape, it was like a tool, I would say. To kind of be like, oh, well, I can get out of this a little bit, every little bit, by realizing that some of the people I meet in my life would be better off with me in their world. But, like, I didn't really have concrete reasoning for that until I was in, like, my 20s, I would say. Which even by this point, the people I met and realized around that time are a few of the only people that are still in my life from that time period. And they're the people I love the most, not just because they pulled me out of a fucking horrible situation, maybe even more so than they realized, but because I realized it's not because they pity me. I have made myself into a person that I should respect. And I think that the overall mentality of that got me out of a lot of situations. Again, maybe it's a little nihilist. At the same time, I think the thought process of... Because nihilism is more about, like, well, we're all dying anyway, so who fucking cares what happens on this rock while we're there. If you can't do everything you wanted to do in your life in one day, who cares, because you're just a stupid fucking animal on a spinning rock with other stupid animals constantly slashing at your throat. But so I don't even think it constitutes its nihilism to say that more than you can probably even know, you're just going to have to trust the people that you love, that they actually do maybe love you back. You're just gonna have to trust that. You know, be careful, but you're just gonna have to trust that. And if that's the case, if you have people like that, especially if you have people that you can, without a shadow of a doubt, fucking trust in that regard, then you have It's a Wonderful Life shit going on. You have people and feelings and emotions and memories and all kinds of things that you will be leaving behind. So giving up is wasteful. Not to the point where you should feel ashamed for thinking about it, but to the point where you definitely, you know, should take care of yourself and keep yourself safe, because it is what those people in your life that make you feel that way. It's those people. It's what they'd want. So if nothing else, do it for them, I suppose. That's what helps me. When I can't think of anything else. Like right now, ending this conversation. So yeah. That's that topic. I think I did that pretty well. I'm gonna have to get judges in here. That'll be the new Sleepy Wash simulator gimmick. Is that there will be people I bring in that they rate the different like topic segments that I come up with. Like out of 10 with big Olympic cards. Yeah, that went well. The other topic I was gonna go into is how I'm perceived online, but that seems even more fucking narcissistic than the last topic. This is making me fucking claustrophobic. This is reminding me of working on actual cars. This is reminding me of working on my cars. Cars over time. I've been pretty lucky in that regard. I've had 3... I mean, it sucks that you have a car and then you lose it, but, like, yeah. I've had 3 different cars. I had what did I start with? A Ford Escort. A 2-door Ford Escort. That shit was not great, but it ran. And it ran pretty well until the transmission started shitting out. And that was expensive to fucking fix. And I was in high school, so... that was interesting. Then my parents, I was like really low mentally. So my parents were just like, don't you want a new car? Your car is like, we just had, paid for its transmission. Beyond that, it's like shitting out. I'm like, not really, it runs. Like now that it has a new transmission, it runs, I don't care. It's not like I go to it too many places anyway. They're like, well no, you gotta like, you gotta want a new car. We can get you a new car. Don't you want a new car? It's what teenagers want, a new car. I'm like, no, I already have this car. I don't think they realize that teenagers usually don't just want a new car. They want a way to be able to go party. And they put my life in a fucking overall position where doing that wasn't fun because I'd have to fucking have fun with my friends and hear about it for like a week from my parents that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway, is that one finally done? Yes, awesome. Can I get under here? Oh yeah, look at that shit, baby. Baby. That'll be that, So they were like, here, you pick out a car. I was like, I don't know. I looked up some vague thing of like, what would I even want in a car? And I was like, this seems convenient enough, fuck it. I don't even remember the other things I looked for. I ended up deciding on a Ford Focus. Because my grandpa worked for Ford. And so we got like, when my parents were in their 20s, they got discounts on Ford cars. My grandpa has since retired. But when I grew up, what I knew from cars was mostly just like Ford shit, and rednecks would tell me like this other brand of car sucks or blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, well, from my experience, I know Ford. I'm less likely to get depressed, fall asleep at the wheel, and die in a Ford than I am in anything else because I have the most memory for it. I legally shouldn't have, but I did. So they're like, okay, cool. We'll get you a new, they said we found one on Craigslist, this, that, the other, we just have to do the forms. I'm like, whatever. I had that phase. To show you how bad it is as well, where I just, like, did not care about my life anymore, I was checked out of life. I was, like, done. I was like, nothing that I'm supposed to be doing right now is something I want to do. My life is a fucking nightmare. In any case, I'm not gonna go more into detail on that. Because I just don't want to get it too heavy. For me, I don't care. For anybody who watches this, it's like, oh, this is a cute little, I'm spraying a little cat, that's cute. And then it's like, oh, I need to curl up with the pillow and not talk to anybody for 3 hours. I don't want to do that to anybody. Why the fuck? The number plate. I thought we did the number plate. I thought we were done with the number plate. We're not done with the number plate? Does this need to be done with the shit right here? Okay. Ah, there we go. What's the number plate? No, that counts as the number plate. Okay, cool. There's something else right here that needs... This tire, what the fuck is... This tire is eternal. Give me that shit. What's I talking about? But yeah, okay, case in point, I was so depressed at that point, like, didn't care what was going on in my life, so I was like, I'm just going through the motions, existence is hell, fuck this shit, I hate everything. I don't want to hate everything, but also having opinions on anything makes everybody think I hate everything, so everything just sucks anyways, so I might as well just be a fucking little bitch, because what's the point, but also I'm gonna stay out of people's ways, because they still think there's something to enjoy in life, I don't. And again, this is past me, I should clarify. I obviously don't feel that way now. In any case, it was so bad that the reason I have a retirement account now is because my dad was like, you gotta start saving up for retirement. Which, by the way, if you're a millennial or a zoomer and you haven't looked up how retirement funds and like how retirement as a whole concept works, I hate to be the one to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a very high chance you will not retire. And it's not like a, oh, well, maybe one day you'll be a movie star kind of thing. No, you will not retire. The world is no longer made for, this country is no longer made for you to retire. I guess I should also specify this is for America. Maybe you can retire in Finland. I don't fucking know. In any case, it's no longer a thing here. But my dad thought it was. My parents still thought that they were raising a child in the aughts to early 2010s like they were raising a kid in the 60s, and that would just be a good idea because it was the good old family Christian conservative values they were taught. So that can only be a good thing. And oh, it's the side hatch, baby. It's the side hatch. Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't wait for it. Hit that shit, babe. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Why is this so funny to me? Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, it's the inside of the step, Aiden. Silly bitch. Oh god. I want to feel the fun. What a fucking banger. Where the fuck else? The cattail still has gunk? Where? Up the asshole? Cause come on. How did that become my job? Oh, all the way across here. There we go. Flame exhaust, a tire still, somehow. Which one? Not that one. That one. Yeah, I just added this one in today. Well, fuck you. Oh, it's so fucking close to die. But yeah, anyway, the retirement account. So my dad was like, we gotta save up for retirement. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna retire anyway. Because I'm gonna work on music, so I'm probably gonna be just poor for the rest of my life. But thank you. And he was like, nah, you gotta save up for retirement. That's all these people ever fucking say, too. I don't know if they still say it today. A lot of them probably do. Like, it's like... They say it like you gotta brush your teeth every day. Like, no, you gotta save for retirement. Bitch, it's my money, fuck you. But they had the fucking hammer over me, because I lived in their house, and was around the age of 18. Or had to be above 18, because they won't let you do a thing, they won't let you, this company anyway wouldn't let you do a retirement account unless you were 18 and consented to it. Which I didn't really consent to it. It was more just like, if I don't get this retirement account, I'm literally afraid my dad will kick me out of the house for saying no. So I eventually just like, okay, if it means that much to you, let's go. Let's go set up my retirement account. So he took me to the place that has his retirement account and a lot of his family members' retirement account. Not my mom's though, weirdly. Was not, you know, it's such a big important detail, but mom gets amnesty from it? Mom doesn't have to do it? That's weird. With the tire? With the tire though. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Oh my god. It is like invincible. There's no sniper attachment. How do you do this? It's fucking impossible. There's no way in hell. Like, I know where it is, but there's no way in hell. Unless there's just another place underneath I never got. Maybe that's the case. Let's go see. Maybe I can get it from here? Oh my god. Below me. Alright, side hatch handle. Yeah, that'll do it. And then flame exhaust. Well, there can only be 2. Here we go. Keep clear, fire. Thanks. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Let's go watch the instant replay. Look at that shit. Look at that form. But yeah, anyway, so the car situation, they were like, let's get a new car, you gotta get a new car. So the plan was really that I had this cousin whose dad was like abusive. The mom wasn't much better, but the dad was like directly abusive. But the mom wasn't like a great parent either. And like just never came over a lot of her own mental issues. So, the reason I know that cousin better than most of my other cousins was because my parents kind of sort of wanted to take them under their wing as if they were going to be better parents. I mean, I guess, like, at least my parents, like, probably wouldn't have been as physically hard, and that's all I'm going to go into there, but, like, goddamn. I said this wasn't going to be a downer episode, what the fuck? Anyway, they wanted to basically raise the fucking kid. Even though when they couldn't handle him for, like, a weekend. Like, they'd have him over for, like, a weekend or, like, a day or a night. Sometimes, like, weeks at a time. For whatever reason, like, the parents would go out of town and he'd just be at our place. Or he'd, like, go around and, like, would come to our place for the rest of the, like, week that he was, you know, off duty from his parents. In any case, he was gonna get my car, the Escort, that had the new transmission in it, that I think I partially paid for? Now that I think about it, that's pretty fucked up. If they're just gonna give it to another kid anyway. In any case, but my sister's like a year or so older than him, I think. And I think she wanted the car. She got the car, maybe. I think she had the car for a little bit, but they were like, we're gonna eventually give it to the other kid, the cousin. And that it did end up happening. My sister ended up with a fucking shitty PT Cruiser that basically exploded. But God, hell yeah, just this chalk, fuck it. Anyway, so I ended up with this Ford Focus. What was funny is that I think on the way home, no, I'm thinking of another time, never mind. I was gonna say, I confused that memory with a memory of us getting pulled over for speeding, going like 5 over in a like residential neighborhood. And that planted the seed of fear of cops for me. Don't know how that didn't resonate with my parents, but it didn't. In any case, but But yeah, that was my second car. I had that for a long time. I had it until I moved into the apartment with the cats, which I talked about, I think, before on the stream, probably once or twice, maybe. If not, I moved into an apartment with a bunch of people with cats. And my first, like, month into living there, I think, I went down to my parents' house for free dinner. I was still schmoozing with my parents after I moved out from their place, even though they knew I had contempt for them. They were so desperate for the nuclear family and to be able to go, oh, yeah, my kid's doing good. Both of my kids are doing great. Despite the fact that my dad has, 3 kids, but nobody knew that yet. Anyway, boss theme, lack of contraception, lack of contraception in the 80s. Anyway. That's how depressed I was that, like, any other kid my age would have been like, new car, oh, I'm gonna pick the most badass, fucking amazing, awesome things. My parents are gonna give me a new car. They said they can afford it. I'm gonna see what their price range is and actually research into getting something fucking cool. But I was so just like, I don't want to break your bank. And they're like, we're buying a new car. We don't care. You're fine. This was saved up to get you a new car. So we don't have transmission issues or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna give it to the other kid. Like, what the fuck? They're like, what do you want from a car? Like, they're like, oh my god, why they argue so fucking hard for this kid to get a car? Like, anyway, fast forward back to, like, I don't know, 2018, I guess. I, slipped and slid and slid and slewed and slided down a fucking, a hill that I've driven down 1,000 fucking times, because, that's the place I spent my teen years in, and my early 20s in. Or at least the vast majority of my early 20s in. I think I moved out before 25. I'm pretty sure I moved out around 23 or 24. Anyway. But yeah, I moved in that apartment. It was new and shit and cool. And then, like, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna leave now. I need to go home. Bye. It's kind of late at night. It rained earlier that day, but, like, it wasn't much, and it had been a long time. And it wasn't, like, cold enough to be slick or anything. Actually, I think it was fairly warm. Yeah, because I moved in that apartment in the summer, I'm pretty sure. So anyway. But yeah, I slip and slide out the fuck. My dad worked on, like, my calipers, and I think something else on our brakes, like maybe we switched out the brake pads or something. But the reason we had to do that was because there was something really shrieky and squeaky and fucked up anyway, and Dad was like, I gotta be the engineer and do this. We can't take this to a professional. I have to do it, because they're gonna grift you out of a bunch of fucking money. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll do it together. We can save money doing that, I guess. I think Dad almost killed me. I don't want to blame him necessarily. It could have just been whatever, but, like, yeah, the brakes did not, they just didn't work. Going down a hill that I knew from experience was fucking dangerous. So I've been up and down it millions of times. And I was like, well, awesome. This is, I guess, how I go. Had to do it that was the weird thing. And I don't know if this is just depression or my general nihilism or what. Because, like, where I was in life at the time, things were going okay. I was finishing school. I had started up college again. I was going for my writing degree, which I now have. I had a good relationship with my sister. The friends I loved the most, they were still by my side. They were with me. They were not in the car. But, like, we were at a point where I could basically text them about anything, and they talked to me about it, and vice versa. And I had another group of friends at the time that I considered a part of that, even though I don't talk to most of them anymore, because a few of them were very problematic and would not approve of my lifestyle choices at this point in life. But, in any case, yeah, but, like, in that moment, as I'm swerving, I thought two main because I don't think people think or at least I don't, in like actual fucking inner monologue exclusively, if that makes sense. I think it's a lot of synapses, and then some of them turn into inner monologue to make it easier for yourself to process everything you're thinking. I think it's a way of kind of sort of focusing. So in that moment, there were a lot of thoughts of just like, well, I'm doing this is it. Like, all those other thoughts of like, you know, what am I gonna eat for, I guess I don't need to eat dinner tonight, I'm gonna eat dessert, am I gonna drink a fuckload of soda before bed, I'm gonna stay up late, am I not gonna stay up late, I wonder who's gonna be home, and whether or not people will be drunk as fuck, I wonder what the fuck's gonna happen with this drama, the other thing, I'm horny, etc., etc. Like, all of that was like silent. All those other anxieties and all that other shit just went away. I didn't see my life flash before my eyes or anything like that. And I just had the two main thought processes. Not thoughts, but two main thought processes that I will summarize for you now. The first one was just, well, this is how I die. It's a car-related issue. It's not embarrassing. I wish I could have finished up, but whatever. I'm not gonna know because my body won't be here. I guess it's just how I die. Let's go see what happens. There was and then there was this other synapse that was not loud, not scary, not even adrenaline pumping necessarily, but in control. And they said basically, you know what to do here. You're not an expert on crashing your car and surviving, but in the vague senses of what you've experienced from, I don't know, driving for years, getting into dangerous and near-death situations prior, and riding a lot of roller coasters, and driving around in a bunch of, like, tractors and other motorized vehicles and shit, you have a vague sense of what to do here. Let's see if I can get out of it. It wasn't even like... that was what's freaky to me to this day. It was still like, it wasn't like, well, like, it wasn't like, don't give up. This is it. This is a whole new lease on life. You gotta survive this for your friends. You gotta, you know, it was like, let's see if I can get out of this. It was so just fucking like, I wonder if I can cheat death. Wouldn't that be fucking sexy? And it was. So, because like I said, that hill, I'd hydroplaned on that fucker 5 million times. I'd almost crashed once or twice, you know. So I was like, okay, well, I know how to swerve out of hydroplaning, but then usually there's a brake here, so I kind of started trying the brakes. I was like, maybe it's shot out at a different angle. Then I realized, nope, I don't think any of the brakes on my car are currently working. I started swerving to a donut kind of way, and I tried my damnedest to then steer the steering wheel in a way that would go with the way it was spinning to the point to where, or against it rather, at certain points, to get it to where it would swerve into the grass nearby. Because I know the worst case scenario that would happen then was if I was on the road and wrecked, that people would come speeding down that hill way faster than they should be. Way faster than what's even remotely safer. And they would come hit my car, and then hit my car into me, and then I'd die by that. But that didn't happen. Nothing like that happened. I just swerved it into the grass as much as possible. I saw a lot of mud kick up. I was like... And then I felt it slowing up my momentum. I made proverbial brakes out of the fucking earth. Because the alternative on that road, by the way... It's not just a big, tall hill where, like, if you fly over the side, it's more hill. It was a hill, and it was, like, careening upward like a fucking castle in a fucking... It's a vampire castle in, like, a horror movie cliche. That's where I lived. Redneck, conservative, anti-choice Dracula. In any case, So spinning around the other way, or had I fucked up or gone any faster, or if the roads were really, like, more slippery from rain, I would have gone careening off the guardrail. And if you're like riding a bike on that road and you go over that guardrail, it's dangerous. So like me going over that guardrail in like the car, I would have died. Or at the very least, I would have came out and like probably not been able to move most of my like ligaments. Like it's dangerous. I probably would have died. But yeah, I swerved the other way, and then I felt the momentum slowing, but I saw mud kicking up a lot more, and I heard a lot more like grinding, and I was like, okay, but I did slow it down. And then it started flipping. And I was like, okay, this might also be how I die. If not, let's see if I can sustain the least amount of injury possible. So if I do get out of this, I'm like, fine. So I didn't like clean the seatbelt or anything crazy. I just tried to move with the momentum overall, but not up towards the like head of the car where it would hurt the most. And I'm not going to show pictures. I actually have them on Instagram if you're curious. But of the wreckage. But yeah, if I hadn't done that, if I didn't have that mindset of just like trying to cheat death and like I think I can do this, I think if I use my brain here I'll be fine. If I think through this and don't panic, I should probably be okay. I would have died. Or sustained very heavy fucking brain injury. Because, like, I crawled out the back seat. Like, the front seat was fucking just done. I kind of sort of came to, the blood rushed to a normal level in my brain. I spat out a little blood because I bit my tongue. A little bit. Not a lot. Like, no more than I probably would have. Like, a little bit more than I would have, like, you know, chewing food and then biting down on my shit. Biting down on my, like, gums or something, or my tongue. Tongue. That's the word for the thing in your mouth, Aiden. I was hanging upside down by my seatbelt. And, I just remember saying, like, you know, like, I was still like, oh shit, but, like, I was also like, I can get out of this, it's okay, this is fine. I couldn't find my MP3 player and my fucking glasses on the way out, weirdly. I was like, oh, those are probably way in the back seat now, but if I don't, or somewhere, I don't know where the fuck they were, but I was like, if I can't find them immediately on the way out, then fuck it, I'll get it in the wreckage, or I'm sure I'll find it somehow later. But, like, I need to crawl out now, because the engine is still running. I don't know what it will do upside down. So I better get out of here in case, like, something really fucked up happens. Or the weight of itself on the top of it, like, you know, squeezes in on itself and you know, it crashes in on itself. Can't support its own weight, and then neither can my body, because it's a bunch of fucking metal. And yeah, I crawled out the back seat, I got out, and, I had scratches. Most of it, honestly, was just glass. I was like, fine. The glass didn't cut me very badly at all. There was, like, one noticeable cut that you know, healed up pretty quickly. There were a few other tiny cuts here and there that were probably healed up within, like, a day or two. They didn't even scar. Like, there's nothing about them. They're fine. Oh, yeah, I got really fucking lucky. And that's the story of my car wreck. I said this wasn't gonna be a downer episode. I don't know. See, because to me, like, the thing that freaks me out about it is that, like, that's like a moment of triumph. Like, you know, it was a string of good luck. Expended, of course, beforehand by a stream of bad luck, but a string of good luck nonetheless overall. You know, I got out, I survived. I'm here today to tell the tale. And although I'm a cocky little bitch about it, I would never want to do it again. Now that I have that experience, it's something that, like, I experience a lot of people don't experience. Not to say I wish near-death experiences on people. It was traumatic. I had nightmares for a while about it. But, you know, overall, I didn't see it as, like, a thing that should haunt me, or that a thing that should scare me, or, like, that kept me from driving. I kept going. I just kept doing it because it was the thing I had to do, and, to this day, I'm still fine with that. I don't really get, PTSD from, like, swerving around tight corners or anything. Like, I don't try to do it, you know, but if it ever comes to that, I'm not like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, you know. Yeah, I got over that. In relativity to what happened pretty quickly. I immediately texted all my friends what happened, sent them pics and stuff, and sent them really fucking jokes. Some of the jokes, honestly, were kind of tasteless. Like, I made jokes of, like, me being, like, delusional, like, a part of my brain texting, like, the wrong thing, like, you know, banana sundae instead of, like, the word peaches, you know what I mean? Like, shit where my brain just, like, wasn't working anymore. And you might be thinking, oh, Aiden's origin stories. This is why she's fucking crazy on stream. No, I trust me. I was fucked up before that. But it did really change my perspective, you know. I immediately I told people that too, like after the fact, because when I finally got to the point where I wasn't sleepy enough and I hung out with people, they're like, oh my god, I haven't seen you since you literally fucking wrecked your car, you maniac. I was like. There were people asking me something about something. Like, some of my really close friends were asking me about, like, some raw shit I was going through at the time, I think. Like, emotionally. And I was like, honestly, I don't have as much of an issue about these things that I used to have an issue with myself. Or how other people perceive me. I still have issues with those things, of course, but not as bad as I did beforehand, because I was like, it isn't something you can succinctly describe like they do on TV, but it does really change your perspective. And again, not something to recommend. I really, truly do not. But, you know, overall, I'd say it's one of those things that I wouldn't go back and change with the time machine. If that makes sense. Yeah. Let's see if I can think of a less depressing topic now. Or maybe that was uplifting. I don't know. I don't fucking know what you people want from me. Giving this one hand to worry about. Oh, I'm gonna be up all fucking night. This sucks. I'm not gonna stream this all fucking night, but I'm gonna be up for a while. I was thinking about cutting off at 1. I think I'm gonna keep going for another like half hour maybe. Am I getting pushed along by the Ferris wheel? That's probably the thing that's happening. Yes. Well, this is a fun idea for a level. I don't think I've seen this one. This is a fun idea for a level. I like this. It is also weird now that I've learned more about what I want to do. I have this weird thing in my brain where I'll have a thing of like, you know, what do you want to do with your life? What's your, you know, quote-unquote dream job? And of course to that you can say I don't dream of labor, which is based, but like, for me I'm like, okay, well what do I want to do? Because, again, like, the governments of the world aren't going to be overthrown overnight. It's just not a thing that's going to happen. Like, this shit sucks. This is where we're at. So with those things in mind, what would I want to do, you know? Like, if I could do anything, didn't need the experience for it or whatever, you know, what would you do? Or even if you could have the experience for it, what would you do? What do you want to do? And is it achievable? And I think it used to before I even knew what the fuck it really was, I think I wanted to be a showrunner for a cartoon, and now I realize why that's a bad idea. Not because being a showrunner for a cartoon is a bad idea, but because I think a lot of people want to go into it because they have this story in their head, they have these OCs, and they're like, I want to turn my show into an anime, you know what I mean? And it's like, cool, but to do that, there's a lot of factors going into that. Even just a cartoon adaptation, because my thing was never anime, my stuff was always cartoons, it still is. I think for a long, long time, it was basically some kind of fucking thing of like, I want to be a showrunner. I want to make a bunch of characters and story ideas and stuff. and then work with an animation team to get that going. And I thought that since I was like in middle school, but now when I started getting, I basically, to go back to the original point of this, I have this thing where I will learn how to do something because I want to do it really bad, and then once I start getting into it, I realize why that's not a feasible thing to spend the rest of my life doing, and then I move on to something else. Which is why I'm still so taken with making music, because it's the only thing I still do that I don't have that feeling for. Like, no matter what I do with music, or what I think I'm doing with music at the time, or like whether I think it'll be a viable career or not, which at this point it won't be. Probably. But, like, I think, like, I learn these things, and I learn about, like, what the actual work that goes into it is, and it's not that I'm like, oh, I see this and I don't want to do it because it's hard work. It's more that I'm like, I don't think this is realistic, or whatever. It's not that I give up because it's unrealistic. It's like, I try it for a bit, and if it, after a while it doesn't pick up, I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out something else. And this is kind of how my life's been. And now I'm almost 30. It's just kind of how it's been. It's just this. Oh, hello. Get squashed by Ferris wheel mid-conversation. No big deal. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you're, like, the most passionate about. I guess. But, like, Aiden, why didn't you want to become a showrunner then? Like, you could probably do that. Here's the thing about that. I don't think that's a good idea for... Most people that want to do that don't know the first thing about animation. So they will be bad showrunners. I don't care how compelling your story is. I don't care how complex and interesting your characters are. I don't care how big your cock is or how big your tits are, or both. If you don't know how to make the show, and this is, kind of a bombastic statement, but there's truth to it. There's definitely truth to it. If you don't know how to make the show you want to make, if with the resources, like if they just left you to your own vices and a studio said, you have to make this all alone, you can hire like a few people if it's something on a technical level you don't really know how to do. But like, all that money and shit, no objects, as long as you don't make anyone feel miserable in the process, you have to make the show. But you can make the show. It can be whatever you want. Most of the people that think they want to make their own show and want to have, like, oh, I want them to adapt my fucking novel into a fucking anime. But, like, I don't know how to animate, so I'll just get other people to do that for me. Yeah, that mentality is why you'd be a terrible, shitty fucking showrunner. I know about animation to a degree, but I don't do it. I'm barely an illustrator. But I find the medium of animation fascinating. I love it, but it's not something I do. And like, I could get into it, but it's not really anything I want to get into. It's more that I want to see the animations in my head be made. But I realize that that's, like, the end. I know there will be a situation where, like, they'll be like, Aiden, you're so amazing and smart and sexy, oh my god, you're the first non-binary showrunner at fucking Netflix, let's make you a fucking show. You have all the queer rep you want, we won't fucking censor any of your shit. All of your animation team, you can work with them as closely as you want, and they'll get paid, and they'll have good benefits, and everybody will be happy and healthy. It's never gonna fucking happen, it's not within my lifetime. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to be a showrunner. Because I don't want to run these people into the ground that work for me. Because they, in a lot of ways, are doing the same thing I'm doing. They want to do the thing that they love doing the most, but unfortunately the way it works in their country, they have to go do it through someone else. A lot of someone else's. And a lot of someone else's that don't actually care about the thing that they want to do. It sucks. but it's the way it is. So, that's why I don't want to be a showrunner. I don't think I can't facilitate that fucking environment. I want to, but I can't. Because for you to get in that position, you have to work with a network. You have to work with editors. You have to work with censors. You have to work with the vice fucking president of Cartoon Network. Like, you gotta work with so many people that people don't even think about. And, even as, like, an animator, you have to think about some of that shit. Imagine being a showrunner. And on top of that, all your staff hates you because you don't know how to do what you're doing. And you're like, oh, hey, do this cool fucking thing because it's cool. Do this really fucking insane fight scene because I think it would be cool to do it. It's a big part of the story, you know, is that you have a cool fight scene. You're the first person to ever fucking make a cool fight scene. Yeah, no, nobody's gonna want to fucking work with you. But they're going to have to regardless. But here's the other kicker. A lot of those people don't get their shows made unless they're already rich or like have a bunch of people in the know and can get that connection. AKA kind of sort of how Rogue One was made. But I digress. In any fucking case, because this applies to live action too. You can't just write a funny sitcom and that's it. Like, not looking good for the music. I don't even know. Bree, I gotta be honest, I haven't been reading a single bit of your dialogue. I'm sitting here talking about writing and characters and stuff, and the meaning of life and how we all should love each other, and capitalism has ruined that. And the rave generator's a goner. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I guess. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, okay. My throat, like, made a noise. I thought it was a fucking, like, cat. I'm about freaked out. I was like, cool, there's a cat in here, but I didn't let them in. So I don't know how that works. Lee and Bree Strobe, Ferris Wheel, Transmaster. Now it's just the master, though, if you don't have the fucking rave material. Now it's just a Ferris wheel. Now it's just a master. I guess. Oh, I should not still be awake. This fucking sucks. Why am I sick all the time? Why do I feel bad? Why do I feel icky? Why am I, like, depressed and sick? I don't know. I better get out of this funk by streaming bullshit at 1 a.m. This is hard to do, this one. This one up here is hard to fucking do. Alright, come on. Up. No? Didn't think so. I was thinking about taking a break from streaming. Again, for like the 4th time this year. Or 3rd? 4th? 3rd? Mommy? I don't remember. And no, that's not going to be the next topic. I'm not going to talk about that. I will literally cry. I think the last time I took a stream break was just like a week. I don't remember why. There was like something else that was going to happen or some shit, and I was like, let's take off. Oh wait, no. There were like 4 major stream breaks. 2 were for the same basic reason. I was not doing well mentally. Not that I'm great now, but I'm, you know, able to put on a face, you know. Back then I was like breaking down crying in public. Like it was bad. Or coming close to breaking down crying in public. They shouldn't be so dramatic about it. The other one I took was just, I don't remember why. I was just like, I don't want to get burned out on streaming. I did a bunch of shit at like once. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to work on. So I'm just going to take a week off and then come back with the next thing we're streaming anyway. Amogus? Anyway, so I fucking did that. The other big stream break was just I had COVID. So yeah, like 4. So maybe I don't want to take another big stream break. I feel like I usually take one in December anyway. So maybe I'll just wait for that. I'll probably like stream less here soon though, so we can get ready for Streamiversary. Wouldn't be surprised if don't be too shocked with Streamiversary. I think what I'm gonna do for Streamiversary week, I'll probably do whatever main series we're playing at the time. Which might be Bastion, hopefully. And then do one mainline series thing, probably on like that Monday, and then do Streamiversary, and do nothing else. I think the Streamiversary falls on a Thursday this year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check that real quick. Check that out. It is on a Thursday. Yes. Wonderful. Okay. Will this work? This kind of works. Yeah. I'm probably driving people crazy. I keep doing this. Moving all around by teetering. Instead of just putting it in the wrists. I also have to pee soon. I'm debating doing that now or just wrapping up stream doing this off stream. But I can't think of what else. There's something. I feel like there's something cool I should talk about beforehand. This is just the most depressing sleepy wash ever. I feel like that last one was real bad though. I feel like this one is not as bad. What's another good topic? I think I was going to talk about this earlier, and I said I was going to talk about this later or something. I've been looking at a lot of the things I've been writing recently in my writing process with new ideas I have. Because a lot of the time I default to like, well, let's put in some like heavy shit, right? Let's put in something that's kind of raunchy or wacky here, like completely changes time signature or genre mid-song, stuff like that. Which isn't bad. It's just something I do. And a lot of it does rely though on like, oh, distorted guitars, that's the thing I write. I've been realizing recently, and maybe it's just a phase, guitar is like one of my least favorite parts of fucking doing Lexi Karma now. It's really weird. It used to be like my favorite. Now I'm like, I love putting music together, but writing the guitars now just stresses me out. I'd rather just write whatever the fucking instrument is. And I've still been writing some guitar stuff overall, but I feel like for the most part it's just been kind of like flavor layering, not like the most prominent part of the piece for the most part. I think a lot of that just has to do with recently I've been like, because I'll be recording shit and then I will, because you know I use simulated amps, so I'm a fucking loony, some fucking cuckoo. I don't have an amp anymore, but yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, I'll sample through a bunch of fucking shit to kind of get like a bunch of presets on the fake amp to kind of get like a point of like, okay, I recorded the part, but I think I know what I want it to sound like in my head. Let's try a bunch of different shit because I feel something cooler. I've been realizing recently a lot of the stuff where I'm like, oh, this sounds nice, this sounds good. Hasn't been distorted guitar, or like not very much distortion on it at all, if anything. And at first when I came to this realization, I kind of sort of ignored it a bit, because I thought it was just kind of a phase more than anything. because I was listening to The Police, the band, more often, and a lot of their shit, they vary from clean to like a kind of like not very heavy distortion, and I was really digging a lot of their shit. I was like, oh, this is cool what you can do with like still making shit have these dynamics, you know, but not having to rely on, oh, well, now it's racky, well, now it's soft, you know, not just hitting clean pedal and then distorted, and then clean, and then distorted, you know. That was something I thought was interesting about it. Then I realized you can just do this, you know, you can just write. And then I started realizing it like more with other instruments, not just guitar. I was like, well, wait a minute. if this is the part I like, that sounds good. And then I started realizing that songs I like, not even songs I'm writing, songs I like. Like a lot of the parts I like either have like no guitars on them, or like very subtle guitars, or have like a guitar but like the vocals are going through some like the guitar is kind of like downplayed, or it's like mostly just like flange fucking shit, and then the vocals would just be like you know, very processed. So not like auto-tune necessarily, although sure, but like they'll be going through a lot of effects. And I was like, oh, this is the stuff I like. And then I started realizing, like, I could make more songs where you just have the nice stuff. Then, of course, you come to the conclusion, like, oh, well, then you have to have other parts of it. But I feel like a lot of the shit I was writing because of that was like, oh, we have to have this part and that part, and then we'll lead into that part. Now I'm like, I'm trying to find happy balance in between it all, I suppose. It's very interesting where I've been led to what I feel is a good form of expression for myself in that regard. And I'm excited to put it out. A lot of the shit that's going to come out, though, before that is not like that at all. It's mostly just, like, basically metal, but, yeah. Try it on here, you know? As far as music goes, I guess I could talk about that. I haven't really talked about Lexi Karma in depth of, like, what I plan on doing, I guess, for a while. This would probably be a good update to put on Lexi Karma's YouTube. Because Lexi Karma's YouTube has not, said anything since I put out a cover by a, unbeknownst to me, problematic fucking band. Or, well, a band with a very problematic singer. I don't know fully how to feel overall, but I can't really listen to them anymore. And it sucks that I finally put out something that I put a lot of, like, work and literally money into, and now it's symbolic of something I hate. In any case, but, like, anyway, what am I putting out there? So Self-Titled Again and Fake and Stupid was originally supposed to come out at the same time. I have no idea when I'm getting that shit out now. I'm starting to think I'll put out, like, the first 5 or 6 songs, maybe, from Self-Titled Again out on, like, YouTube. And then the next year release the full album. And then I can make, like, Fake and Stupid. I'm also thinking about doing, like, a pseudo-acoustic thing, which may come to an IRL Randomrings stream where I do a live performance of music? Question mark? If I can get that set up somehow, I will do it. I feel like I can't. This is hard to talk about with this fucking song playing in the background. That's better. That's better, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, so those are the things I have planned. Fake and Stupid is the electric, or the electronic, EP, but I still haven't finished. So I think if I start just doing things in, like, small chunks of songs, I'll release more shit, which right now is good. You might be thinking, no, quality over quantity. Here's the thing. I've already written the quality, and I'm not good at mixing. So, like, at this point, I feel like before I have a midlife crisis over it, I better get some of this shit out. I know it will make me money. I know nobody's gonna fucking care. Like, I don't know, a few of my friends will enjoy it, and I will enjoy sharing it with people, and that's about it. I would like to start a band again. I would like to be in a band. But that's probably not gonna happen anytime soon either. I guess that's what's up with Lexi Karma. I gotta pee. It's 1:20. I should probably wrap this up soon. But yeah, I'm gonna keep making music regardless, because even though it hasn't been a career for me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my shit being something, because that's the thing, is like, it's still something I love to do regardless. I love it when I put little music things together. Like, you know, I was freaking out earlier over like, oh, I like that arrangement. Oh, I like how this instrument goes here, and like how all this turns into this. I do the same shit with like my own music when I write it. It's a lot more cynical because you know, it's my music that I have to put out. But like, beyond that, I still enjoy doing it regardless. Yeah, I guess now's a good time as I need to wrap up. The Coca-Cola has gone. I thought I would be more hyped up by this point, but I actually kind of am starting to grow a bit of a headache, and I should probably just force myself to go to bed. And that's what they did. All right, yeah, I think it's gonna do it for me, champeronis. And as I say at the end of every stream, Seagate was real? Is there anything in there? I'm looking in the joke bag right now. Is there anything in there? Seagate is real is what I found in the joke bag. I didn't even write half these, truth be told. A lot of my shit's on cards. I don't know. This whole production's a mess.